Capricorn, do you feel it? That quiet power rising within you, the one that no longer trembles when people walk away? There was a time when you explained yourself too much, when you tried to fix what others kept breaking. You trusted too soon, you forgave too easily. You believed that kindness would make people see your heart clearly. But lately, something inside you has changed. Something deep, sacred, and irreversible. You've stepped into a new phase. One that the universe has been shaping behind the scenes for years. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every false friend was preparing you for this moment of awakening. You've become too spiritually aware to be deceived, too emotionally intelligent to be played, too grounded in truth to be swayed by empty words. You're not cold, you're clear. You're not distant, you're discerning. You've outgrown manipulation, because now you see patterns before they even start. You can feel when someone's intentions don't match their smile. You sense the energy behind every conversation. Say this in the comments to anchor your energy tonight. I am no longer easy to manipulate. Because this phase of your journey isn't about becoming hard, it's about becoming holy in your strength. You've learned to master your emotions, and that mastery makes you powerful. You're no longer moved by flattery or fear. You're moved by truth. And that, Capricorn, is what makes you very dangerous, not in a cruel way, but in a divine way. Because when peace becomes your power, no one can play with your soul again. Capricorn, there comes a moment in every soul's journey when exhaustion turns into revelation, when your spirit quietly says, no more. For years, you carried other people's storms as if they were your own. You were the healer, the fixer, the one who stayed long after your peace had left. You believed that love meant enduring pain, that silence meant maturity, that patience meant loyalty. But the truth was simpler. The universe was using every ounce of discomfort to build the strongest version of you. Every heartbreak wasn't just an ending, it was an initiation. Every disappointment wasn't rejection, it was redirection. You weren't being broken, you were being reshaped, sculpted into someone who no longer trades peace for validation. The same lessons that once crushed your heart have now refined your discernment. Now your energy speaks louder than your words. People feel it before they even approach you. There's something different in your aura, still calm but guarded by wisdom. You no longer rush to explain yourself or defend your truth. You've realized that silence, when chosen consciously, can be the most powerful statement of all. And so you observe instead of reacting. You listen, not to reply, but to understand what's not being said. Your intuition has sharpened. You see through words, through tone, through energy itself. Where you once chased connection, you now attract alignment. You've stopped reaching for people who only meet you halfway, because you finally understand that half love isn't love at all. The dangerous part, Capricorn, isn't your temper. It's your detachment. When you used to get angry, people still had access to your emotions. But when you detach, that access is gone. And you don't announce it, you don't create drama. You simply pull back, quietly, gracefully, completely. You stop watering what no longer grows. You stop showing up to conversations that drain your soul. You stop being available to the energy that once fed off your compassion. That's the awakening of boundaries. The sacred shift from explaining yourself to protecting your peace. And now that you've crossed that invisible threshold, there's no going back. Because once a Capricorn learns the value of their own energy, every manipulator loses their power instantly. Capricorn, have you noticed how different people act around you lately? Those who once carried themselves with false confidence now seem uneasy in your presence. They stumble over their words, avoid your gaze, and hide behind forced smiles. It's not that you've changed the way you look at them, it's that your spirit now sees deeper than ever before. Your intuition has become razor sharp. You no longer get distracted by appearances, by charm, or by pretty words. You can sense a lie before it's even spoken. You can feel when energy doesn't match intention. And because of that, people who once used to twist your empathy now struggle to reach you. You used to absorb people's pain. You wanted to heal everyone, to understand everyone. But now, you've realized that some people only come to drain your light, not to share it. You no longer allow your kindness to be a doorway for manipulation. You've stopped reacting to guilt tactics, to silent treatments, to unnecessary drama. You've learned that your silence can be louder than confrontation, and that silence is your new weapon. You've become the calm in other people's chaos, and that calm unnerves them. Because manipulators thrive on reaction, they survive on your confusion. But now that you're grounded, now that your emotions are anchored, they can't play their games anymore. You've seen their patterns too many times to fall for them again. There's a sacred silence surrounding you now, a peace that doesn't need to explain, prove, or justify. You've learned that people who truly love you don't need convincing, and those who constantly misunderstand you never will, because it serves their illusion. You've realized that the loudest voices are often the emptiest. Those who brag about loyalty are the first to betray. Those who cry victim, the loudest, are often the ones creating the harm. And you, Capricorn, no longer get caught in those illusions. The universe has armed you with discernment, a spiritual shield stronger than any defense. No amount of flattery can penetrate it. No deception can disguise itself long enough to fool you, because your intuition has become your protection. They sense it. They feel it. That's why your presence alone now makes liars uncomfortable. Your energy exposes what words try to hide. People can no longer pretend around you because truth vibrates too loudly in your frequency. And this, Capricorn, is the beauty of your transformation. You don't have to unmask anyone anymore. Your light simply reveals what was hidden all along. Capricorn, the turning point came quietly, not with a loud argument, not with a dramatic goodbye, but in a single moment of awareness. It was the day you stopped explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you. It was the day you decided your peace was worth more than being right. You stopped defending your worth to those who only valued what you could do for them. You stopped proving your loyalty to people who made you earn what should have been freely given. You stopped shrinking your light to make small hearts feel comfortable in your presence. That day, your spirit shifted, and heaven took note. The universe recognized that you were ready for divine maturity. This is where peace becomes your power, and silence becomes your greatest weapon. You've realized not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone deserves your time, your compassion, or your effort. You used to give people endless chances, hoping they would change. Now you give them distance, knowing you have changed. And somehow as you let go, your world began to feel lighter. Your path became clearer, your mind freer. You've stepped into divine alignment, where everything that's meant for you flows with ease, and everything that's not meant for you simply fades without resistance. When your peace starts costing people their control, they'll call you cold. When your silence replaces your explanations, they'll say you've changed. But don't be moved by their labels. In truth, you're not cold, you're healed. You're not distant, you're discerning. You've learned that emotional detachment isn't a lack of love, it's spiritual intelligence. It's knowing that protecting your peace is not selfish, it's sacred. It's realizing that not every battle needs your presence, and not every person deserves your response. This, Capricorn, is your turning point, the sacred moment where pain ends and power begins. Capricorn, you've built something within yourself that cannot be shaken anymore. Your energy now wears armor made of awareness, an invisible shield forged through lessons, heartbreaks, and awakenings. You've learned how to read the room without saying a word, how to recognize energy without needing proof. You no longer absorb every emotion that passes by. Instead, you reflect truth, quietly, powerfully, like a mirror that shows people who they really are. Once upon a time, you carried the pain of others, thinking it was compassion. You thought helping meant feeling everything they felt, but now you understand that not every emotion deserves a place in your spirit. You've stopped internalizing chaos, and instead, you've learned to stand still inside of it. Even when everything around you shakes, you remain anchored. Your spirit has become a fortress of light, unmovable, unbreakable, unbothered. Manipulators can't breathe in your presence anymore because your peace exposes them. They used to love your sympathy, your listening ear, your soft heart. But now, your stillness terrifies them, because your silence holds more truth than their words ever could. You don't argue anymore. You simply allow energy to reveal itself. Every time you choose peace over reaction, your power multiplies. Every time you walk away from confusion, your vibration sharpens. You've realized that not every battle is meant to be fought. Some are meant to be outgrown. And that's what you've done. You've outgrown the need to prove your strength. You no longer need validation, closure, or understanding from those who thrive on misunderstanding you. You've become the kind of soul that darkness cannot fool anymore. No manipulation, no flattery, no pressure can reach you, because your awareness has turned into spiritual armor. You now see that the greatest strength is in stillness, not in shouting, not in defending, but in remaining aligned. Remember this, Capricorn: power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply refuses to participate. And that's exactly what you're doing now. Walking away from drama, choosing peace, and protecting your divine alignment. That's your true armor, and it makes you untouchable. Capricorn, you've become dangerous, not because of anger, not because of revenge, but because of the peace that now lives inside you. It is a peace that can no longer be negotiated, manipulated, or stolen. It is the kind of peace that unsettles those who once thrived on your reactions. You've learned that real strength isn't loud, it's quiet. It's in your calm tone, your unbothered steps, your ability to sit still while everything around you shakes. You used to fight for understanding, to make people see your heart. Now you simply observe and let time show the truth. The people who once played with your emotions can sense the shift. They used to know exactly which words could hurt you, which silence could make you chase, which apology could make you forget your worth. But not anymore. Now, when they try to pull those old strings, nothing moves. The version of you that needed their approval doesn't exist anymore. You've become untouchable, not because you built walls, but because you built wisdom. You've learned that boundaries aren't barriers, they are sacred gates that protect your energy. You no longer open those gates for anyone who knocks with flattery or pity. You wait, you watch, you discern. And in this stillness, you've discovered something powerful. You don't need to expose anyone. Your silence exposes them for you. When you stop responding to manipulation, truth begins to echo on its own. People reveal who they are when they realize they no longer have access to who you were. You used to think walking away was weakness. Now you know it's wisdom. You used to think closure came from conversation. Now you know closure comes from peace. You've stopped running after people who can't meet you where you are. Because you finally understand that no one can meet you deeply if they live shallow. Capricorn, this peace you carry, it's not accidental. It's divine. It's the result of battles fought in silence, tears cried in private, and lessons learned in pain. It's the peace that comes when you faced yourself and accepted what can't be changed. You no longer live in reaction to life. You flow with it. You no longer resist endings, you honor them. You've turned your pain into intuition. Now your spirit recognizes patterns before they even begin. You can sense manipulation long before it reaches your heart. You can feel false intentions before they form into words. That's why you've become so calm. Not because you don't care, but because you already know. And knowledge brings peace. The same people who once tried to guilt you are now confused by your calm. They can't read you anymore. They wonder, why doesn't Capricorn react? They don't realize your silence isn't indifference. It's mastery. Because when you stop reacting, you take back control of your energy. You're no longer playing their game, you're writing your own rules. There's power in your patience now. You've learned that not every truth needs to be shouted, not every wrong needs to be corrected, and not every storm needs to be fought. Some storms are meant to show others the strength of your foundation, and your foundation, Capricorn, is now made of peace. Every time you choose calm instead of chaos, the universe rewards you. Every time you walk away from confusion, your vibration sharpens. Every time you forgive without returning, your light grows stronger. This is sacred growth, the kind of transformation that can't be explained, only felt. They used to call you emotional. Now they call you distant. But the truth is, you've become selective about what you answer, what you engage in, what you tolerate. You've realized that silence is not weakness, it's a decision. And the moment you chose peace over proving yourself, you became unstoppable. You've entered the kind of peace that's misunderstood by many. People who still live in chaos won't understand why you're so calm. They'll say you've changed, and they'll be right. Because you've learned that not every battle deserves your fire. Some deserve your absence. And this, Capricorn, is the dangerous kind of peace. It's the peace that doesn't chase, doesn't compete, doesn't explain. It's the peace that watches the universe balance every scale in its own time. You don't need to wish for karma. You are karma's witness. You don't need to announce your glow-up. Your energy speaks before you do. You've become a master of sacred restraint. You know when to speak and when to stay silent. You know when to act and when to let the divine handle what you can't. And that is real spiritual power. The ability to remain soft but never small, kind but never controlled. Now when people look at you, they see the same face, but the energy behind it has changed. You radiate authority without words, wisdom without effort, and light without permission. You've become the kind of soul that peace itself protects. So yes, the world might call you dangerous, Capricorn, but what you truly are is divinely untouchable. Because when peace becomes your language, no manipulation can translate your silence. This is your mastery, your calm crown. You've outgrown the noise, the games, the battles that used to drain you. Now your spirit moves with quiet power, and the universe bows to your inner peace. Capricorn, you've become your own authority now. You've reached the place where no one's approval, no one's validation, and no one's opinion can define you anymore. For too long, you lived in a world that told you to prove your worth, to justify your choices, to explain your emotions. But now, you don't explain. You embody. You've earned this peace, not by luck, but by lessons. Every heartbreak you survived, every betrayal you endured, every disappointment that tried to silence you, all of it shaped this version of you. The version that no longer wavers when life gets loud. You've walked through storms that would have broken most people, and instead of falling apart, you found your center. Now, no one dictates your emotions. No one manipulates your perception. Because you finally remember who you are, a divine being with ancient roots and unstoppable grace. You've learned that control over others was never real power. Real power is self-mastery. It's knowing that your emotions are sacred instruments, and no one gets to play them without permission. It's choosing peace, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. From this moment forward, your decisions come from clarity, not confusion. You will no longer move from fear, but from faith. You will no longer react from pain, but respond from wisdom. Your energy is no longer scattered across places and people who cannot hold it. You've pulled it all back to yourself, and that is where your strength now lives. Your love will flow from strength, not need. You'll give without losing yourself. You'll help without being drained. You'll stand beside others without shrinking to make them feel tall. Because you finally understand that true love, whether it's friendship, romance, or self-connection, is never meant to cost you your peace. You used to be afraid of being alone. Now, solitude feels sacred. You've realized that silence doesn't mean loneliness, it means alignment. When you sit in quiet now, you hear your higher self speak. You hear the voice of God, the whispers of your ancestors, the guidance of the universe moving through you like wind through trees. That is what spiritual authority feels like, calm, constant, and clear. And your energy, it moves like quiet thunder, calm but commanding. Your presence alone speaks before you do. You no longer have to prove who you are. People feel it. They feel your depth, your peace, your quiet confidence. You radiate a kind of authority that cannot be faked. It's not loud, it's not forceful, It's certain, because you've built it from truth. Every time you say no now, it's not rejection. It's redirection. Every time you set a boundary, you're teaching the world how to honor your spirit. Every time you choose to stay calm, the universe expands that peace around you. Say it once more in the comments to seal this phase of your evolution. I am unshakable. I see through everything. Let that declaration become your daily prayer. Because those words aren't just a sentence, they're a vibration. Every time you speak them, they remind your soul that you are in command of your life now. No manipulation, no distraction, no emotional trick can pull you away from your truth again. You've stepped into divine leadership, the kind that begins within. Your calm no longer depends on the behavior of others. Your happiness no longer depends on circumstances. You found stability in something eternal, yourself. And this new version of you, it's different. You don't need to chase opportunities because opportunities chase energy like yours. Doors that were once locked will open because you're walking in alignment now. People who once underestimated you will watch your elevation in silence. You don't need revenge. You don't need validation. Your success will speak the language that words never could. Capricorn, you are no longer a seeker of peace. You are peace. You are no longer waiting for the right moment. You are the moment. Every step you take now is intentional, steady, grounded. Your path may still have challenges, but you face them with a clear heart and calm spirit. You've already proven that you can survive the storm. Now, you're learning how to dance in the calm that follows. You've become a master of your emotions, a guardian of your energy, and a vessel for divine wisdom. This is your crown, Capricorn, your crown of inner authority. You wear it not on your head, but in your spirit. It shines through your actions, your discipline, your grace. People may wonder how you stay so calm when everything seems uncertain. They won't understand that peace is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of trust. You trust the process now. You trust divine timing. You trust that whatever leaves was never meant to stay, and whatever stays was chosen by the universe itself. You've stopped begging for doors to open. Now, you walk through the ones that align with your light. You've stopped chasing what isn't yours. Now what's truly meant for you finds its way. Easily, peacefully, divinely. The world needs your calm strength, Capricorn. It needs your grounded wisdom, your unwavering discipline, your quiet leadership. You are the reminder that peace can be powerful. You are the example that silence can move mountains. So stay rooted in that energy. Stay loyal to your peace, even when the world tries to disturb it. Because when a Capricorn becomes untouchable, the universe itself shifts to protect their purpose. Every angel assigned to your journey stands guard over you now. Every lesson that once brought pain now brings power. And every test you once feared has turned into a testimony that lights the for others. So lift your head, Capricorn. You've earned your crown. Not through ego, but through endurance. Not through control, but through surrender. This is your divine reward for every high reward for every sleepless night, every silent tear, every moment you chose patience instead of anger. Don't forget to subscribe, because your evolution has only just begun. You are stepping into a chapter that will redefine your destiny. The next phase of your journey will not be about survival, it will be about sovereignty. And the power rising within you now will not just change your life, it will shift the lives of everyone connected to you. So breathe, Capricorn. Stand tall. Because this peace, this strength, this authority is your divine inheritance. And the world is finally ready to see the real you.